an interesting question. Do you have relationship debt? I had this idea pop in my head a few days ago, and I thought, that's actually a pretty profound statement. And I'm wondering if other people ever stop to think about our relationship debt. I am Jacqueline, and I support singles on their love quest. And I think so often we have a hard time moving forward in new relationships because of incomplete old relationships. Whether there's something that we can resolve with that ex person or not, there's a feeling of maybe that you didn't show up fully, maybe you picked the wrong person, maybe you're not ready to get your heart broken again with somebody new. Being vulnerable isn't easy. It is quite difficult and quite challenging, but at the same time, it has so much reward. So when I think about relationship debt, is there somebody that you blocked, that you completely just stopped acknowledging because you just didn't want to, but they had no clue? Sometimes we have to do that. Sometimes we just need to block that energy and the other person isn't getting the message, or we're not really strong enough to explain to them what we're thinking or what we're feeling. But at the same time, if we're still thinking about it on our own time and we're wondering if that person's upset or offended, that's still some relationship debt. Sometimes we just need to kind of either let it go, or we need to reach out to that person and get some genuine closure. There's also relationship debt where you're in a situation that you kind of or keep talking to people that really isn't going to go anywhere. So they feed your ego, they're fun to talk with, it's exciting to have somebody interested in you, but yet there's really no potential, there's no longevity. And you're kind of both in this limbo space where you're hanging in there because you like having a conversation, but not necessarily feeling like that conversation with that person is necessarily fulfilling the next chapter of your life. This is something that we have to stop and really think about. Are we carrying around this debt where when we go into a new relationship, we're still hovering over the old relationship? And maybe it's an old relationship of a while ago. It's really stopping and thinking about where we're at. I was listening to a country song the other day. I love to listen to some country music in the morning. And one of the phrases was in one of the songs, couldn't even tell you what the song is. I just kind of play autopilot song listings. But what I heard was very much, the words were to the effect of, I'm in bed with somebody new, but I'm wondering what you're doing. And I was thinking about that, like how many people are in relationships, but they're still thinking about that person that got away, the relationship that never really finished, the heartfelt story that never got completed, the person you broke and trampled all over your heart is still getting your energy. I often talk in these videos about why the rear view mirror is small and that we're supposed to just look and glance behind us for safety measures, but not to be focused. There's a reason we look out the front window and be able to move forward in the direction that we are going. But it's still hard. Sometimes it's hard to let go of the past. And there are moments that when you get away from a past relationship long enough, you can easily go back to only the happy places, the places that made you feel the best, the places that you recall were really treasured moments. But yet there's a reason you're not together. It's not always a good reason. It's not always a valid reason. It's not always a reason that makes sense, but that is the debt that we all carry. So I'm curious, if you are single, do you still keep in contact with people you dated before? Are you focused on always being friends with the exes? Or do you kind of keep it out there because it's fun to kind of have that dial a date moment, or somebody that you can just flirt with? There's something comforting knowing that there is somebody in your Rolodex that could respond to you if you sent out a "hey, how are you doing" text. They might be surprised to hear from you, but also they're more likely to respond with a positivity if they do choose to respond. And so we have like that lighthearted debt of relationship, and then we have the heavy debt of relationship, a bad marriage, a marriage that was difficult, a commitment that was long-term that ended, and maybe you don't have all the answers, or maybe you really hurt the person. Maybe it was an unfaithful relationship. Maybe it was an abusive relationship. Maybe it was something that traumatized you. Maybe it was neglectful. There are so many layers that, as much as we want to just brush them under the carpet, we want to be done with, if we haven't worked through those relationship debts, it's very, very difficult to truly, fully show up to a new relationship. This is why falling in love when you were younger was a lot easier, because you hadn't been burned so much. You hadn't been hurt as much. You hadn't been abandoned or left as a result of an unsuccessful relationship. The hard part is we have those memories still. We have the hurt. So by carrying the debt or holding space for a light debt relationship that isn't going anywhere is difficult too. Now, at the same time, we meet special people. We do have neat relationships. Some people, they're not meant to be our forever person, but they are meant to be our beautiful friendship, that the relationship just had to pivot and go in a different angle. And that's important too. I think too often we discard intimate relationships that can't stay intimate, but could still be really beautiful as friends. I really do believe that people are brought together for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. But when they are together, whether it is a little relationship or it is a big relationship or is an on and off relationship, there's always something pulling people forward. There's always something that makes you feel a good reason to keep in contact. So you've got kind of a lighthearted debt with those people, but then you've got to come back to the heavy debted people. And those are the people that we have to let go of, just like a massive credit card debt, massive car payment debt, massive medical debt, massive, school loan debt, whatever it is. Things got you to where it was, but what do we need to do to clear it up? Because anything that is holding space in your heart, space in your mind, or you're thinking about extra, it is a debt. It is heavy because it's not going anywhere. If this is a bad relationship that you're still thinking about, it's still going to hang out over there. And we need to release it. Doesn't always mean you get to confront the ex and have this wholehearted conversation. And that doesn't always solve anything either. Sometimes it's just about you giving yourself permission to move on and letting that chapter be closed. That's not easy because we tend to want to peek it open and see what else we can stir up. We need to get a little reaction. We want to know they're still thinking about us. But sometimes we have to accept that maybe they've moved on, or maybe it's time for you to move on. What do you think about relationship debt? Do you have any relationship debt? Do any of these points I've covered bring up some thoughts that you have that are holding you back from having the ultimate best relationship? Even if you are in a good relationship, are you still holding back because of somebody else that you're still carrying the debt of that relationship? It doesn't just go away because you decided it goes away. It goes away because you move in a direction to give that bad debt relationship less time and energy. So let me know in the comments below what you think about bad debt relationship details. I'm very, very curious. And so of course, please like, subscribe, and comment, because this is how I reach more people and get a better communication with you. And I get to learn about where you are at. I'm so curious about your bad debt relationship details. So comment below and let me know.